All right, we've got ourselves a brand new featured location, and this week it is the Vibranium Mines. And Vibranium Mines, when you play a card into that location, you shuffle 3 Vibranium into your deck. Vibranium are 1 cost, 4 power cards that have an ongoing effect that the cards cannot be destroyed. Pretty damn impactful. Moreover, if you're new to Marvel Snap, featured locations are with us for 48 hours, and then they are added to the regular location pool like everything else. But during that 48 hours, you have a 40% chance to have them in your game, so it's a little bit of an elevated chance. In this guide, I'm gonna have 5 decks, 1 pool 1, 1 pool 2 deck, and then 3 different pool 3 decks. Let's get through them, and I'll try to be snappy here, because I know you want to get playing. Moreover, all the deck lists will be in the description below. Smash the like button, blah, blah, blah. Regardless, this particular location really benefits Zoo style decks, okay? So what we've got here is we have a modified Zoo style deck. So basically you are playing the Ant-Man, you are playing Squirrel Girl, Korg. Korg's nice because you're going to dilute their deck a bit, so if they're playing the Vibranium Mines, they have a greater chance to pull the card. However, in testing, it also it's worth noting that sometimes they play so many cards into Vibranium Mines that ultimately Korg feels a little weak. So if you have Korg and if you want to take him out, you could consider adding someone like Elektra. The reason for this is because Elektra, let's get the variant in there. The Elektra will allow you to trade into the Ant-Man provided they don't have armor there yet, okay? So Elektra's an interesting choice as well. Korg, if they repeatedly play into it, is a little problematic. And also Elektra is likely to get countered by the armor, but some people might skip on the armor. I don't think you should. I think you should run armor for this given location, considering the number of 1 costs you have. Angela is amazing value in this particular deck list. The Vibranium just feed into the Angela so easily, it's incredible. Wolfsbane, she gets free value. Board space is going to be a premium. You have Squirrel Girl. Wolfsbane, she's going to land as a 3/7 most of the time anyway, closing out a lane. Punisher is a great counter card for the type of zoo mechanics you're seeing. Kazar Blue Marvel, I mean, what's there to say? They're going to benefit those 1-drops, and they're going to just expand your board presence because you're so wide on the board. And then you have the choice on turn 6. You have Onslaught, which doubles the effect of Kazar and Blue Marvel. Be very wary of how you play your lanes so that you can play the Onslaught into them appropriately. And of course, you have the Spectrum finisher as well. If you find yourself very frequently running out of space on your board and unable to play Onslaught in conjunction with Kazar Blue Marvel, take out Onslaught, add American Chavez so you can have the Spectrum play more reliably. So this is the Pool 1 version. It is basically a modified deck where you're playing like a Zoo style while taking advantage of the Vibranium whenever possible. As we move into Pool 2, what we're going to see here is a very similar deck. However, we're going to add a couple things. Again, when you're in Pool 2, you don't want to, stray too much from what you know. It's still a Zoo style deck. However, we are adding Sunspot. One of the things about Sunspot in this particular featured event is that you are often running out of cards because you're going to be playing these Vibranium, but you're only drawing 1 card every single turn, right? So then the result of that is you're often playing off efficiency. So you're going to be playing a 1-cost 4, and it's on turn 5 and you're out of cards. So the Sunspot helps you curve a little better when you're playing those Vibranium and you aren't taking advantage of your unused mana, and Sunspot is key there. And of course, you have to protect the Sunspot with the armor. Coccia here is, if I could click on, Coccia is a excellent card in this because it's going to hit every single card in your deck. The Vibranium become 1/5s, so I do think that a Coccia is absolutely excellent in this given list. A little tricky to play on a turn 2, for instance, so there is some awkwardness because if it's not the first location revealed, you haven't already put them into your deck, so there is some awkwardness there, but a Coccia does provide some value, especially in this given situation, and the other cards remain consistent. In this case here, as you enter Pool 2, I do think that the Chavez Spectrum play becomes a little more valuable because you do get a little more value here. You could even include someone like Ebony Maw if you wish. It's a good replacement for say Iceman. You can get rid of Iceman, get Ebony Maw in there. Now you have more of a ongoing list. I actually like this list as well, so it's up to you. We do have some variability here. I do like showing you guys a couple different options here. Once again, it's tilting me out that I don't have my I actually really like that Ebony Maw variant. I love the variants. What can I say? I mean, Cozy and I just finished talking about on our podcast about how I absolutely love variants, and we all love variants. But anyways, all right, that's Pool 2. Let's get into the 3 Pool 3s, and I got 3 different ones here for you, and they all approach it very differently, okay? Now, the first is, I cannot believe I'm talking about crystal here. This blows my mind. As soon as I heard about this featured location, I was looking at it and I was like, oh my gosh, tell me crystal's actually relevant. The ability on turn 4 to shuffle 3 cards from your deck into your hand is unbelievable, because basically it gives you an opportunity to take advantage of those Vibranium in your deck, especially when you've been feeding into them on turns 1 through 3. So basically, again, we have the Sunspot protected by the armor, as we discussed earlier. Okoye, again, might be a little awkward in practice here. I've been playing it and it seems good, but at times it feels like you pull Okoye late and it's like, it feels gross, right? But anyways, Angela continues to be top tier in this given list. I like Quinjet a lot for pool 3. If you've got Quinjet, use it. Quinjet makes the Vibranium 0 cost, because they're just amazing. They didn't start in your deck, right? So when you draw them, they become 0 cost, which means that you blow through your hand even faster, which allows you to take advantage of crystal even better. The other side to this is that you have Mojo, who I think is amazing in this particular event, because Mojo is going to counter that zoo mechanic that you're going to see so often. I still think Punisher is really good, honestly. Mojo and Punisher kind of do the same thing a little bit, but in conjunction with one another, I think they absolutely rock. Again, you'll also notice, except for Okoye, sorry, who I cannot click apparently, except for Okoye, this is a full ongoing list, taking advantage of that Spectrum proc in the end. Again, I'm not 100% sold on Okoye, folks. So like in my testing, she's been okay, but like, as you'll know, like I've only been testing for a few hours, right? So like I wanted to get the video out, but I didn't want to like just release like something half-assed. So I did test it a lot, and Okoye seemed okay, but it's not an ongoing card. So if you're not comfortable with an Okoye, even adding someone like any ongoing card honestly kind of rounds out this list. I don't want to just say Colossus because I see him, but Colossus could make this list better. Do not play Lizard. Lizard's a terrible idea because you're being zooed against super hard, but you know what I mean, and you guys are smart deck builders, you'll figure it out. But this list features crystal. That was the whole point of this particular list. And then we got Vibranium Mines 2. This is the one that I was thinking about. I'm like, okay, Alex, just smarten up here. What's the actual pool 3 list that, if you're not trying to be fancy, get rid of the, get rid of the Okoye, who I was not sold on 100%, but there is synergy there. What do? I still think Sunspot is absolutely mandatory. I think it's too good in this given featured location. You got to protect it with armor. And then you got the Mojo, who continues to be amazing. And then Adam Warlock. I thought Adam Warlock was good because I think having that card draw is really important. And I think that if you play Adam Warlock into the Sunspot location, that Sunspot should be able to maintain your ability to continuously draw cards. So, I mean, Adam Warlock seems like he's a pretty good fit here. Mojo continues to be awesome. Angela continues to be awesome, right? I do like the Ironheart here. The reason for this is because you can also do a different approach to winning the game here. I tried to make another win condition. You have Ironheart into someone like Spider-Woman Odin. By the way, this could almost become a pool 1 list if you want to, but I do think the Mojo and Crystal are kind of important here. Spider-Woman's also very good in this because you can obviously impact the Zood cards. Odin will reproc anything, so it'll reproc the Ironheart, it'll reproc the Spider-Woman, and America Chavez makes your curve a little consistent. This was a bit of a different approach here. I do think that the Crystal is very important, and I also do think that the Adam Warlock is very important in this list, but realistically, this gets carried by Mojo, and then you have the Ironheart, Spider-Woman, Odin combo, which should cleanly win one lane, because if you play Ironheart into one location, and then you follow that up with the Spider-Woman, anything there is getting traded effectively with the Spider-Woman, and then you're getting that double trade with Odin, which also carries the second lane with the Ironheart. So, like, I mean, that is like you're securing one lane with Ironheart, Spider-Woman, Odin, which should be enough. And the other lane, you should have some combination of Angela and then everyone else, basically. Mojo, for instance, Sunspot, armor. So it gives you some playability. Remember that Crystal has to be played mid. If you don't have Crystal right now, it's not a big deal either. And then finally, it's crazy because I felt like I was just talking about this deck on stream. People were talking to me about the Spectrum ongoing destroyer list, and like it's funny because I think that this location actually works pretty well with it. Now this particular list does work really well because what you have here is you have a very clean playstyle that I think you guys are very familiar with. You basically have the Destroyer playstyle. The nice thing about Destroyer is it's not going to destroy the Vibranium. So like you naturally have like a lane that you could play the Vibranium into and not care about the Destroyer. In fact, you can play like 3 Vibranium into a lane and play the Destroyer on top of it and it doesn't get destroyed, right? So with that being said, you could even tech Cosmo out, right? It's one of those things, but I don't want to do that because I know a lot of people are really interested in this deck. I do think that this deck list works in this given situation. And I really do think that Mojo is a must-have card. I do think Ant-Man's really good here. But it's crazy because with the Vibranium, you could literally play the Vibranium into a lane that you're prepared to drop Destroyer, or you want to trade with Destroyer. And if Destroyer doesn't work for you, then you could just Spectrum, right? You can just Spectrum. The card that I think gets kind of messed up a little bit here is the Warpath, because based on the strategy, it's like, okay, you might actually use a third lane for the Vibranium. I hadn't had too many opportunities to actually fully test this deck, so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, in theory this deck should work. In my practice, I had a couple games with it, it seemed good. I really like the idea of being able to play that Vibranium and the Destroyer in conjunction with one another and not have to worry about it, but the Warpath on occasion felt awkward. However, remember, if you lock something with Professor X, the Warpath in it, and then it doesn't matter. Like, that's what you need to do. You need to play Warpath with an empty lane, you Professor X it, and then you have the other one with Vibranium where they cannot hope to trade into your Destroyer, and that's kind of the key play there. I mean, I was trying to come up with a Wong list as well, but then I thought we were getting too fancy. For the record, I didn't think the Wong list worked because you're stuffing your deck so much with Vibranium. It's like drawing that Wong becomes extremely unreliable unless it starts in your hand, and there's no reliable way of doing that. So anyways, those are the 5 decks. It's one of those things where, like, I'm going to continue, by the way, to tweet and put community posts for updated deck lists as I come up with them. I really do like the design of this particular featured location. I think it's really fascinating. I do think the Zoo decks have the most natural progression. It's funny because now you have like a situation where Killmonger doesn't even counter them properly, which is wild. Of course you can use Enchantress, but like, do you really want to fully counter it? I mean, just put a Scarlet Witch in your deck if like that's what you really want to do, right? But anyways, there's a lot of really interesting approaches to this given location. I hope you guys liked the video. Hit that like button if you want to support it. I got another video down below if you're interested in watching more Marvel Snap content. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in that next one.